stumbled upon a famous quote of an ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle. He said that educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Educating the heart refers to the importance of not only focusing on developing the cognitive aspects, which is our minds, but also all the qualities that makes us human, which is the heart, and ultimately give us the meaning in our lives. I am pleased to see and be one among the many friends, delegates, from different countries gathered in one place. This conference theme, challenges and opportunities in economics, management, and multidisciplinary social sciences perspective, gives us a very rare opportunity to conduct our studies dwelling on various disciplines. Warmest greetings, everyone. Before all else, may I ask, how important is education? Education gives us the knowledge of the world around us and changes it into something better. Develops in us a perspective and helps us build opinions and have points of views on things in life. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting our research, extent of implementation of alternative learning system delivery scheme in Binyan City, Laguna. I am Liberlois D. Agustin, together with my co-authors, John Joshua Corpus, Gerald Oloya, Ernesto Bastida, Freddy John Calumno, and John Carlo Guia, from our school, Trimex Colleges, representing the Philippines. Now, due to the increasing number of dropouts, out-of-school youth, and adult learners, the Department of Education has institutionalized the establishment of alternative learning system in different parts of the Philippines. ALS provide a feasible alternative to the formal basic education structure in the country and covers both the informal and non-formal subsystems of education. Informal education seeks to offer a learning experience that is based on the common needs or interests of an individual or group. The non-formal education, on the other hand, is a methodical or structured form of education that is outside the formal school system. Now, alternative learning system is a program established by the Department of Education that aims to help out-of-school youth and adult learners that aims to go back to school and be educated once again. This study aims to determine the extent implementation of ALS delivery scheme in terms of teachers' competencies, learning resources and facilities, conduct of learning sessions, project organization and ALS center management, mapping out and recruitment of learners, linkages and funding, and capacity building. To determine the problems encountered in the ALS delivery schemes in terms of planning and material development, learners' participation and attendance, monitoring and evaluation, and advocacy and social mobilization. Aims to compare the extent of implementation of ALS delivery schemes and problems encountered across profile variables. And lastly, it wants to relate the extent of implementation of ALS delivery schemes to problems encountered. For the methods, the participants of the study was selected via a randomized sample from the population of students enrolled in the ALS Center in Binyan City. The population was then stratified according to students' enrolled certification levels, which eventually ended up with 300 participants for the study. The main instrument for the study was a researcher made. Using a 5-point response scale, the extent of implementation of ALS delivery schemes ranged from 1 to 5, from not at all and to a very great extent. Furthermore, the problems encountered were also assessed with a 5-point response scales that ranges from 1 to 5, from no manifestation of the problem to a very serious problem. Now, the instrument of the study was then tested for its internal consistency using Cronbach alpha. The alpha coefficient from the implementation of the ALS delivery scheme ranges from 0.745 to 0.950, which indicates acceptable to excellent reliability, while the alpha coefficient for the problems encountered ranges from 0.790 to 0.921, which also indicates acceptable to excellent reliability. Data gathering was then proceeded as the survey was administered to the participant for the study. And the collected data was then subjected to statistical analysis. Now, generally, half of the students were female within the age bracket of 20 years of age and below. Also, majority of them were single, earning 5,000 pesos to 10,000 pesos monthly. And most of the reasons for dropping out from the formal education was due to domestic factors. Excuse me. And we found out that on the average, the students assessed that the ALS delivery scheme in terms of teachers' competencies has been implemented to a very great extent. Students also assessed that the ALS delivery scheme in terms of learning resources and facilities has been implemented to a great extent. Students also assess in the ALS delivery scheme in terms of conduct of learning sessions has been implemented to a great extent. Students also assess the ALS delivery schemes in terms of project organization and ALS center management has been implemented to a great extent. On the average, students assess the ALS delivery schemes in terms of mapping out and recruitment of learners has been implemented to a great extent. In terms of linkages and funding, students assess that it has been implemented to a great extent. And also for the capacity building, students also assess that it has been implemented to a great extent. Now, the problems encountered in planning and materials development is a serious problem. And also in learners' participation and attendance is also a serious problem. For the problems encountered in monitoring and evaluation is a serious problem. And lastly, in advocacy and social mobilization, students assess that it is a serious problem. Now, the problems in learners' participation and attendance indicated a moderate relationship with the ALS implementation of teachers' competencies, conduct of learning sessions, mapping out and recruitment of learners, and capacity building. Problems encountered in planning and material development indicated a moderate relationship with learning resources and facilities and project of organization and ALS center management. Lastly, problems in monitoring and evaluation also indicated a moderate relationship with linkages and funding. We therefore conclude that the extent of ALS development program is well implemented in Binyan City. It serves as a strong foundation to meet the basic education needs for the out-of-school people. The consistency of the learners in terms of attending in the learning center are quite inadequate. This low outcome fairly supports the shortage of learning materials and planning. The learning facilities are not enough for the students to cater their needs. While the teachers show tremendous efforts and characters in their way of teaching, that the students feel that they have quality education, even when it is viewed as a serious problem. Assessment of the extent of implementation of ALS delivery scheme vary across profile variables as it favors more to female, single, and lower income respondents, as well as those affected by the domestic factors. Lastly, the extent of implementation of ALS delivery scheme is dependent on the problems encountered by the respondents. We therefore recommend that the government should take advantage of the potential that the ALS program has to offer. They should be more focused on planning and building efficient and capable facilities for the learners to become more comfortable with the learning environment. In addition, the government should create a reward system in which for the benefit of a good facilitators of education. Regular teachers should be more inspired to the ALS facilitators' efforts and characters in their way of educating learners and be more motivated to look up to the ALS facilitators. And learning materials should be more developed to cover the learner's basic education needs. Now, I stumbled upon the quote of a famous singer named Riley B. King, or known as B.B. King, and he said that the beautiful thing about learning is nobody can take it from you. Education is the only treasure that we have. Education is not like those products that other people want. High-ends, branded clothing, Givenchy, Gucci, Chanel, whatever name it. Those will be gone and education will always remain with us. As we go home to our respective countries, we have memories of this conference. Knowledge is not only worth sharing but worth cherishing. And now, our very able organizers, I would like to thank you that your efforts have paid off. That is, it yielded good results. Now, before I leave, I would like to request all the delegates, please join me in requesting our very able organizers to have a repeat of this conference far greater than this. Let us embrace the beauty of education and appreciate what it brings. Once again, I am Liberlois from the Philippines. Thank you very much and mabuhay!